All right, in this video, we are going to review the focus, or what they call the fatal four. And these are the injuries or incidents that cause the most injury to constructions. And there are four of them: falls, caught in between, struck by, and electrocution. And the most fatal are the falls. And so what we're going to do is go over each one, go over what causes the fall, how to prevent them, and what the owner's responsibility is. And remember, as we go through each one, we're going to require that you go to the standard number in the specifications with respect to the 29 CFR 1926 and show us the actual standard that applies to that. And so very quickly, what is a fall hazard? Well, it's anything that causes you to lose your balance, of course, okay? We're grown up, so, when I was taught this, it's just redundant, but we're gonna try not to do that. And the required study for falls out of all of the four is a full 2 hours. And so if you're going for your OSHA 30, it's a full 4 hours. And so there'll be a complete study of this, along with videos, along with exercises, to give you a good understanding of how to avoid the hazard, what is required in terms of personal equipment, the PPE, what's required, what are the standards, what are the laws within the standards, so you'll know what they are, and what is the owner's responsibility in terms of this. And two, what are the forms related to injuries and falls? There are forms that you must also have filled out in terms of just incidents. So we're going to go over also, by the time we complete all four of these, what forms are required for you to report any of these injuries, and how to store that, and how long to keep it, and all that stuff. So again, the one that causes the most injury and even death are the fall hazards, okay? So, and the injury basically is created because of gravity, right? You fall because of gravity, and depending on how you fall, it can cause a minor injury or it can cause death. All right, so that's number one, and there'll be a separate module for that. The next is the caught in between. Okay, so what is a caught in or caught between hazard? Okay, so the key factor in making that determination between a caught in between, now they kind of mix up the caught in between and the struck by, but it's kind of obvious, right? And it says, well, how does the impact? Okay, so the key factor in making the determination between a caught event and a struck event is whether the impact of the object alone caused the injury. And so struck by, yeah, if struck by, something flies off of something and it causes the injury. Okay, so when the impact alone causes the injury, the event should be recorded as a struck event. Okay, when the injury is more created as a result of crushing, then it's a caught in between, and just know the difference. Okay, and then last but not least, well, when it comes to examples of the caught in between, okay, so we'll go over these in detail, but cave-ins, okay, that's an example of a caught in. You're caught between the ground and the dirt, okay? So being pulled into machinery, that's another one. And, just being caught in between a crane and something else, okay? So caught in between. And then struck by flying object, struck by falling object, struck by swinging object, struck by rolling object. So we'll go over all of those for the struck by category. And last but not least, it's electrocution, which is a lot more detailed. And we go over the Be Safe acronym, where B is for burns, E is for electrocution, S is for shock, A, arc flash, arc blast, F is for fire, and E is for explosions. And so we'll go over that in detail. So that is the focus or the fatal 4. There won't be a individual quiz for this because each of the sections we're going to have an individual quiz. So make sure you review this and go on to the next section, which would be the most detailed again. If it's OSHA 10, we need 2 hours. If it's OSHA 30, we review for 4 hours for falls alone. All right, see you next time.